Am I live? Have I done it? Hello. Hello. There I am. So, we are just awaiting the arrival of Turb, but I didn't want to, keep delaying too much. We're a few minutes behind schedule. Things come up last minute. These kinds of things happen. But I hope that you guys are ready for an exciting conversation. I'm certainly excited. Yeah, I'm just sort of gonna be waiting for Turb to pop into the call, and once he does, we'll get into the questions. Talking sort of about infantilization, which is a topic that is had been suggested for an upcoming video, and we'll be doing in June. We're also just going to be doing some general back and forth questions. You guys kind of know what I tend to do with these interview type streams, so that's a thing. Yeah, and I'm hoping to catch him off guard with some fun stuff and some deep stuff, juxtaposed together, which is, I think, the best way to do these things. In the meantime, we can chat a little bit. I see some sort of comments in the chat. Shout outs to Kong King and Michael Jackson Forever, who are having a little chat. Green Mailman couldn't make it. That sucks. Sorry that Green Mailman couldn't make it. Jonathan Cole asked if I am Asian, which yeah, I am. I'm of partial Chinese descent and Dominican descent, mostly Dominican. What's up to Julian, my guy Julian? Karina is here. MJ is here. We've got about 30 people in the stream watching. Very exciting times. I'm not sure if there's like any interesting pop culture stuff happening. Particularly, there's just some things like the NBA draft lottery as mostly what I'm like, paying attention to. I'm not really tuned in the way that I used to be. Yeah, Turb does look different. I'm not really tuned in that much right now. I'm sort of enjoying a bit of a summer vacation. Some of you may know that I work as a tutor in a university. So being that I do that, once the semester is over, we get a couple weeks off, and I will be working a little bit in the summer, but not much. So I'm free, and I'm enjoying my free time. I've been playing my video games. I've been trying to eat a little bit more, trying to put on a little bit of weight, a little bit of muscle, do things like that. I'm playing a lot of Football Manager. I do watch soccer. Speaking of which, I keep up with. Been keeping up a little bit with the Champions League, of course. Keep up with the Premier League. I am a Arsenal fan. I try to monitor what's going on in the other leagues. I have a lot of Real Madrid fan friends. So, I'm a big fan of sports in general, and soccer I'm big on. What's up, Fancy? Sorry that you can't stay, but it's good to see you as always, long-time supporter. Shout out to the writers striking. Yes, of course. That is the topic. It is a situation that I remember, similar to the Drew Gooden video when I was a kid. I also remember the writer's strike that occurred in 07, 08, and I didn't understand much about it. But now that I'm older, I recognize the value of labor unionization and striking efforts. So many things going on in music, says Julian. That's interesting. I've been listening to a lot of Billy Woods lately, and also a lot of older songs, just like old songs. I've never been the greatest at keeping up with new music. I really like the new what's the name of the group? Oh God, that's not coming to my mind. The group with with Lucy Dacus and and Sophie Tucker. No, is that her name? That's a different person. Good lord. Yeah, that group. the, the group with what's the name? I'm doing a really good job of remembering things. Thank you, Julian, for remembering. For your kind words, I should say. Speaking of remembering, that's what I'm focused on. Boy Genius. Yeah, I really like the Boy Genius record. I like the new Billy Woods record. I'm gonna get into the Conway the Machine record soon. There's been some new K-pop records that I've liked. Anita Baker's music, great music. Yeah, Arsenal, tough season for us. Definitely a lot of great things happened, a lot of great successes, but ultimately it ended in, unfortunately, was kind of a very Arsenal way. We just couldn't get it done at the end, and we were just very unfortunate. We had a pretty thin squad. We're not the richest club in England. Of course, the richest club in England is currently at the top of the table. Once again, that's Man City. We are, a pretty affluent team, all things considered, but not nearly at that. Well, not necessarily not nearly at that level, but not at that level. And we ultimately couldn't get that many high level players as a result. And so when the injuries started popping up, we lost Tomiyasu. We lost Tomiyasu and Saliba, and that basically killed our season. Losing Saliba was such a problem for Arsenal because he was really central to how Arsenal play, which is a very specific play style that if any of the pieces are missing, it can be extremely chaotic. When we lost Gabriel Jesus, and Nketiah stepped in and did a good job, but we still kind of fell off of the form that we had in the first half of the season. Jesus came back, but then losing Saliba was even harder of a blow because he was so focal. He was so focal, not only to the defense, but to the ability for the defense to play out of the back, and press and counter quickly. With Rob Holding in that position, that was completely nerfed, and then we ended up having a situation where players were having to do more in attack surrounding him than they were wanting to do, and some players were having to play just do way too much in terms of playing forward and backward, and that ended up getting us caught in a lot of bad positions defensively, and we had some really bad matches as a result, really bad losses, a terrible draw to Southampton, got our asses beat by Man City in the Etihad. It was just sad. You can just, see the deflation that also took place, when you have all these guys that have been working so hard all season, and a lot of them are beat up. It was, it's tough, but that's sports, sports is this the thing. Manchester City winning is low-key capitalism winning again. In a sense, yeah. I mean, all of these teams are extremely wealthy, especially in the Premier League, and especially in the top sort of teams in the Premier League. Arsenal included in that, but we're definitely in the low tier of the wealthy, of the wealthiest. And Man City, completely rich, the billionaire team owned obviously by essentially by key members of the state of Saudi Arabia. We're able to put it together in a very sort of impressive way as usual. Just a second, let me just make sure. Let me just try to. Okay, I have Turb on the call right now. Hold on a second. Hey Turb, no problem.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good. I'm gonna get the. You still need the link, right?
Yeah.
Let
Send me
me.
the link and I'm good. I'm all set up and everything.
No problem. I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna try to send it to your iMessage then.
Yeah, thank you for being so relaxed about this, man. Sorry for being so behind.
It's fine, man. I know that things like this happen. Can I put you on speaker? Uh, all right, we're live with Turb.
We're live right now. Oh, yo, what's up? Wait, let me shout it out. I gotta get my people in there. I gotta. What is it from the main channel?
Yeah, it's on my main channel. It's on my main thing with Jiggy. Uh, it is Yeah.
I got your channel down. I watch your content.
Yeah, yes, sir. Okay, you know it. I mean, that's what we're here to do. We're here to make content together. I sent you the link to your iMessage, so I'm gonna hang up now. When you sign in, I'm gonna have just make sure that you changed your display name if you have to. Like if you don't feel comfortable with the display name on Zoom, and then when you're ready to rock with that, like we'll be live the whole time, but like I'll make sure to adjust in case. But yeah, I sent you the link, so.
Okay, bet. I'll see you in 30 seconds. Peace.
Peace. All right. It's about 8:30. It's 8:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. From here on in, I shoot without a script. And we're waiting for Turb to pop in after receiving the Zoom link, which I have sent to him. So, yeah. Have I been doing Muay Thai still? Absolutely, I have. I got back from training today. I'm trying to train a lot more over the summer now that I have some space and time. Space and time, man, it's just so valuable. I can't explain to you guys just how important it is to have space and time, and how much capitalism sucks up our space and time because we're so obsessed with trying to make sure we gain more profit value. Space and make sure you keep some space and time for yourself, because it is truly a blessing to have this. I feel so much better than I have in a long time. And I wasn't having a bad year at all, but right now I feel just like great, and I'm really excited to I can just do things, it's great. I can just do things. I got a good kicking technique. I could do better. I think you've seen it. I definitely can do better. I think my low kick technique, I'm gonna film myself doing the low kick technique soon. And when I do that, that's hopefully going to be useful. What's up, Turb? How are you doing, Turb?
Up, Elliot? I'm doing well. How are you?
No problem. I'm doing fairly solid. Do you want to change your display name, or should I?
It's all good. My name is Steve Dan, guys.
Ho ho ho!
I go by Turb. Reveal. New character.
Shout out to new characters, new personas and whatnot being popped up. Government names being revealed.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like to have the government name out, for the world to see. I've had it out for a while. I couldn't.
Like Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, I'm like Miley Cyrus. Well, you're the more Miley Cyrus here with the reveal. I think somebody's gonna be in the crowd like, you're the
Yeah. Like, what?
It's you. It's really you.
In kindergarten? Was that you?
I knew him.
I couldn't pronounce that name. Now I can. Now I can.
Now I can. He said it. He said I'm such a big fan of his. How did you come up with the name Turb? Where did that come from?
So Turb is kind of Turb is a weird little thing where it was like I was in math grade 10, and this person that was seated beside me was like, do you have an Instagram? And I was like, no, I only have a Facebook. Then they were like, hey, you should make Instagram. So I pulled my phone out and I downloaded Instagram.
Okay.
And then I was just like, Thea, but I'm gonna remove all the R's. But I fucked up and I was like, okay, Turb just sounds better. So I just kept Turb, and that's just been my online name since grade 10. I'm like Turb on League of Legends. I'm Turb on everything ever imaginable. Like I've just always been Turb. So like, yeah,
it's a great name. It's very memorable. It conjures images when people mention your name. They think of you.
Yeah. I hope I strike fear.
For some.
This is like a portrait of someone I mutilated, right? Yeah.
I saw him do it.
They were taking a selfie, and I don't like that. You don't take selfies in my room. Not in my room.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Not that's not up to code. That's not the standard we hold. So you had to mutilate him.
How are you doing though?
I am. I'm good. I'm well. I'm healthy.
I noticed the channel has been like growing phenomenally like the last month. But that's like that's a lot of like us like up and comers, I guess. But like you specifically, like you've been doing amazing lately, and I just want to audience clap for that. Someone donate like $1 for that. Someone donate like
that is an amazing amount of like riz that you just pulled there first. Like just a tremendous, like very charismatic, very kind. I'm sure you do not need to feel pressured, chat, to send any money. But
Mhm.
I fully appreciate the sentiment and
Yeah.
the
Elliot's
celebration.
not pressuring you, but I am.
Yeah, you see the skeleton, so
Yeah. You
you
see the
know.
you saw what we did with the last person who didn't support the Patreon. Who didn't support the- So this is what I do to people that are removed from my Patreon.
Yeah, in your last video, you're like tossing the flamingo around.
Yeah.
There's like a lot
Yeah.
of sort of like outbursts going on
Yeah.
there.
I got a call from PETA. Yeah, they were like, bro, just stop. But honestly, I'm gonna keep doing me. The haters will say what they say.
The
The
haters,
haters.
i.e., PETA, will say what they
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah,
cool, you know. We need that kind of energy. We need people who are ready, you know, to get in that kind of headspace on this
yeah, yeah.
on this YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Um,
But the flamingo was a paid actor. I don't actually abuse animals. I'm sorry.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's
I
true.
gave him $20. You know, that's a lot of money for flamingos. Flamingos don't have bank accounts.
Changes his
That's like,
life.
yeah, he's Bill Gates now.
He's the Bill Gates of the flamingo
Yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah,
He's out there buying like what do
yeah.
flamingos eat? Somebody will know what flamingos eat.
I don't even know what flamingos eat. To be honest, I don't even know what flamingos sound like. Like the bark, the quack thing was because I was like, I don't know what flamingos sound like, and I don't want to search. And there's no flamingo MP3 file, so I'm just gonna get a duck. I'm just gonna make him quack.
I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
my bet would be that it would sound similar to the quack or the goose
yeah,
honk. Um,
yeah. I bet
maybe
they like
like
screech.
yeah, like shriller
Yeah,
for sure, like a
yeah.
shriller honk, for sure,
Mm.
for sure.
Because they all like do the leg thing in like rivers like around each other. Like they're very communal animals. So I'm guessing their screech is for like like it's heard everywhere. Then they all like flee.
Right.
A flamingo running would be funny though. Like maybe how do you support all that body weight on one foot?
With like a very thin
Yeah,
neck. The
yeah,
neck is
yeah,
like it's hard. You have to have a lot of musculature in your neck to be able
yeah,
to support such a thin, like long neck, and then
yeah.
the large body as well. It's a really
Mhm.
interesting body composition.
Mhm.
You wouldn't, you know, as a if you were a construction person, you wouldn't design somebody like or like an animal or some sort of creature or being to be like that, but they ended
Yeah,
up that way.
yeah. But they're my favorite animals. Although I know like very little about them because they're beautiful. They look majestic to me. So
It's like you
yeah,
have a beautiful distant admiration of them,
yeah,
like a cute person in
yeah,
class or something, where you just
yeah.
look at them and you don't want to say anything. You just want to keep it in that sort of fantasy like realm where
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, you
yeah,
know, I just admire your
yeah,
beauty so much. Don't worry about me, type of thing.
yeah. But then
Or
Ryan passes a note and they're like, "Hey, Thea from three chairs down says he likes you." And then
and you're
now you
like,
have to hide your face
no.
for all the shame for 3 semesters.
You just got like, oh,
So yeah,
flamingo boy. Yeah, it
yeah,
becomes a whole thing. Oh, you're the
yeah,
guy that oh, Thebe likes flamingos. You know.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, it's an unfortunate part of the flamingo admiration. I don't think we talk about it enough.
Mhm. I gotta
Um,
like, I'm not reading the chat. I gotta.
the chat
How do
is.
you?
I tend to have a very random user base, like very random, very holds up spork. Um,
Mhm.
so I think like they really feed into all of that. I find honestly the more random we get tonight, and the more we talk about like silly things and animals, the more that they
Yeah.
will just like feed off of it. Like they'll just build like this massive tangible energy.
Mhm. I like it.
Um,
It's like a cult. I love cults. Like,
yeah, I don't know if it's a cult. Yeah, I don't think that there's like that much of a centralized nature to my audience. It's very
mm,
much like a bit. It's a bit scattershot. It's a
mm,
bit, you know, it's federations, right? It's like loose
yeah.
federations, loose
Mm, mm.
confederations.
I get that.
Not too much of like a you know cult of personality or like a you know authoritarian thing going on here. I just
Yeah.
comment and
No,
let them do their thing, you know.
that's actually like really good though because I've been thinking about that a lot with like my content too,
Mm,
especially with issues that activist issues that we talk about on a daily
yeah,
basis. Where if we're talking about like let's say like trans rights or like something that I'm not in the I guess community of like
right,
anti-Asians or xenophobia, then I don't want to be the be all that says all. I don't want like my notes. I want my notes to be reflective of I guess insinuations of racism and you know structures of racism, but I don't want to overtake the conversation. which is
Right.
why I like that um having a diverse audience that can like check you and be
Yeah.
like, hey, you're not the say all end all between everything. Because I like when I first my first video was like the fresh and fit video, and
Right.
it was just a dunk on red pillars, which is just like that's communal, everyone can watch it, right? So I started off with
It's
like,
like a B movie, you know. It's everybody just gets together,
yeah.
have a good time.
Yeah. So that was like a wide net that was cast, right? So I got
Yeah.
like a whole bunch of people. And then I made a video about like I made a couple of videos on Black culture analysis, and that opened my demographic up to a lot of Black women that watched my content, or Black femme presenting people. And they started checking me, and like I actually
Mm.
learned, I actually learned, so I can make and then when I made the acidification of masculinity video, that was my first time talking about trans issues more directly.
Yeah.
I Then my audience pool widened, and now there's people checking my cis ass for doing things that are out of line, right? And I think that's a really positive thing, especially for a creator, to know that like you can make videos on a topic, but you're never the say all be all end all. So
Yeah.
I'm happy that you embrace that, that confederacy of although I could shouldn't say confederacy because that's a very
Yeah. No.
yeah
Yeah. Just defending
yeah
the
yeah
honor of the. Yeah. I mean,
yeah
yeah. I think it's a really it's a tricky balance of
Mhm.
making sure that you like retain your open mindedness and like look for voices and good opinions, good thoughts. That are
Mhm.
being like good responses to your content, but also like there is a trick also of like you never know quite like there are some people like you're gonna get certain responses that are like I don't think you're correct. Like there's definitely a lot of
Mhm.
those too. Sometimes they're antagonistic, but sometimes they will also be people who are like, you know, Elliot, or you know,
Yeah,
Turb, like
yeah,
this
yeah,
is, you know, I know you had the best intentions at heart, but you're actually wrong. Like socialism is bad and it kills people. And then you have to kind of be like, well, like
yeah,
I don't want to like
yeah,
hurt your feelings, but I can't also just like, and so you have to
yeah,
have that balance, and that's part of what that's the best part is that you get
yeah,
this sense of having to activate your own perceptions and like
yeah.
discernment, you know.
And then on the other side, of like, I guess, outrage, with audience, right? You never want to police outrage, because outrage
Yeah.
always comes uh, from a place like there has to be something wrong with the outrage, unless it's something, unless it's like, I don't want to get you in trouble, but I will not talk about that. But so outrage is very a very weird thing, because the people that are mad at you may be mad at you for the right reasons, and like those people might be fed up with like hearing those same exact talking points, you know what I mean? And they might come to you and they might say, in a place of anger, but their criticism is still completely valid. And there's been people that have done that with me, and I actually learned, where I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for being mad at me. I will do better,
Right.
things like that. So I like the policing of community, I guess, as a creator is a very hard thing to do, but you're doing it extremely well,
Oh,
like I watch your videos and I see your comments and everything. They're always positive, and I never really have like notes and things like that, notes of like, this is what this person has done wrong here and here. So why I was like
right.
so ready to come on stream, because I like your content. Yeah.
Well, I like your
Yeah.
content too. I think you also have a really cool thing going, like a great positive vibe going on, and clearly you have the maturity to, be open minded towards a variety of reactions and types of viewers, which I'm sure your audience notices and appreciates too. I mean, it takes a lot of patience to do what we do, for
Mhm.
lack of a better term. It takes a lot of sort of patience and a lot of you know being able to relax, being able to not necessarily have to, sometimes my first inclination is to respond to everything.
Mhm.
And especially when you have a platform where your whole thing is like, I comment on things, right? Like that's what
Mhm.
kind of what I do.
Mhm.
It becomes really tantalizing to be like, I'm going to comment on everything. So as soon as somebody comments towards me, I'm going to respond back. And as if there's a thing going on, I'm going to comment on that. And the great like struggle is recognizing like, hey, comment only on specific things that you're ready to comment on. And usually the less said the better, actually, and the ironic twist of anything, because it's like you're already doing a lot of talking, especially when you do this like type of work, and you'd never want to be out there like taking it for granted and then just thinking like when you're gonna say stuff and always have the right take, or always have like the right timing, or always have the right sort of discernment. It
Which
takes
is
a lot of
why
humility.
yeah, which is why I really like the interview style of essays, you know, because that you can learn in real time and actually platform people who talk about those issues in real time.
Yeah.
And your side channel, it popped up on my YouTube radar like a week ago. I'm forgetting it. But
Yeah, talking with
your
Elliot.
interviews there are like very, you know, although they're not in a traditional video essays form where like you have a frame and you're going
Right.
into like this idea, like they're very like cool conversations to listen to, you know. It's like it's like plugging in, just working out and stuff. It's very nice, very refreshing to listen to. Yeah.
Yeah, conversations are great. I love listening to conversations. I like doing it while like podcasts and stuff while I'm walking around or at work or working out. It's just one of those things that also makes you kind of feel like you're tapping into to social stuff and whatnot. Oh, Aronok is here. Hello, Aronok.
Aeronaut Herb respond to you. Oh, okay, Aeronaut, I'll respond. I'm sorry.
You
Yeah,
can go for that right now if you want.
yeah, let me do that right
It's
now.
like, get off the stream right now. Elliot's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Elliot's stealing your data right now.
No, I have Wi-Fi. Uh,
I'm looking at the chat as well. Right?
hop on call.
Yeah, it's not easy at all, Julian.
Yeah. Okay. I told Aronok that I'd hop on call after the stream. I think they saw it.
Okay.
I can feel myself getting taller already. What is your audience talking about right now?
So the title of the stream is "This stream will make you taller."
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, I was trying to. I sometimes like to put like little clickbaity titles to my live streams. You know, something that will get people tantalized, get people thinking that they're gonna get some sort of value extraction from it. That's all people want.
I'm actually 6'5". I can lend some of my height if y'all want.
So I hear,
yeah.
I hear that
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
6'5". I'm 6'1". So together combined, we have clearly the insight, the knowledge, the experience.
We have 12 feet of intersectionality.
Exactly.
You know?
There's a lot of intersectional
Yeah.
content of tallness and like height, and you can absorb it from us, right?
Yeah.
I think you can get taller watching our videos. Speaking of tall, so usually when we do these live streams, I kind of have like a question format where I just kind of go like silly to serious to silly to serious kind of thing, you know.
Okay.
Like to sort of weave in and out, which
like
I think
that.
you're gonna adapt to it quite well, and we're gonna have many tangents tonight. But my first question is, who you got tonight between the Nuggets and the Lakers? Have you got a pick for that series?
Okay, you're gonna hate me, but I was actually cheering for the Phoenix Suns because KD has been my favorite player for the longest time.
Okay.
Like, no,
Okay.
like, listen.
No,
As like a skinny, tall,
right.
black person that played guard position, KD was like very ingenuitive because here before KD was KD, like it was like black tall black men play the center position,
Yeah.
play the 5, play the 4, you know. And Katie kind of opened it up where it's like, no, now there's 7-foot people who are dribbling and shooting and doing all this stuff, right? And you could go all the way back and say Magic Johnson, I guess, really introduced it,
Right,
but
but he
KD
wasn't
really
shooting like
did.
KD.
Yeah, Katie really made the small forward position what it more, I guess, is in our age, because I guess the traditional small forwards, some of them are still around, you know, like LeBron is the best player of all time, you know, and he's kind of a traditional small forward, you know, a big stocky dude that can like drive to the rim, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a dude like Katie was very cool to me, and he was like him and Larry Bird, and I know
Mm.
Larry Bird was like that one's kind of a silly nuanced conversation too, because Larry Bird was my junior high basketball coach's favorite player. So when
Okay.
I was introduced into basketball, I started playing with like leagues first. Like since I was tall, they just threw me straight into bantamweight, which is like the highest division.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so I was playing there, and then I came here, and my coach was like, "Oh, you play a lot like Larry Bird," and I was like, "Larry Bird? Oh." Then I started watching Larry Bird highlights and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this dude's cool." It was only like 5 years later when I found out Larry Bird and Magic Johnson had this whole
Yeah.
yin
Rivalry.
and yang, black and white thing going on, and
Yeah.
the nuances around it. So I'm not saying I'm supporting white people when I say I like Larry Bird. Okay, I'm just saying he's a good ball player. I'm just saying he's a good ball
He could
player.
hoop.
And yeah, 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 Duco hoop. So I like Larry Bird and Katie for that reason. And I've always wanted Katie to be in the GOAT conversation because he's been my
Mm.
favorite player of all time. So I want him to get more rings. But at this point, it's like this was like his last hope. Like at this point,
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be in the conversation. So no, if we're talking about Lakers versus the Nuggets, I didn't even want the Lakers to even win. I was cheering for the Warriors. Like I was,
This is a tough one for you then.
yeah, yeah. So for me, it's like it's really like whatever. But it would be cool to see like a younger team like the Nuggets actually like ascend, because
Yeah.
all the younger teams, they all either make it to the Eastern Conference and then fail, or Boston was really the only one the last like 10 years that made it to the finals and failed. So shout out to them, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just want younger teams to come up, because basketball is still being dominated by like the 35-year-old NBA stars. So I just want to see like new faces. I want to see like the new generation like rise up.
Yeah.
So I would say the Nuggets, but also LeBron's GOAT conversation, if he wins this, it's undebatable. So
It's
I
spicy.
want
It gets
yeah,
very
so
spicy at that
yeah,
point.
so at this point I'm just watching to watch. Like I'm really excited for basketball. This has been one of the most like entertaining times to be an NBA fan. Especially, have you seen what Jimmy Butler's been doing, bro? Like
Yeah, yeah, I'm a Knicks
yeah, yeah.
fan, so I've been
Yeah.
unfortunately I've been watching it pretty closely because he
Uh,
kind of ripped me up
have
this
you
past
always been
year.
a Nick fan? Like
Yeah, yeah, since 2011, since
mm,
2011,
since
since
Melo?
before Melo, like the year
Ah.
before came, I was Amari, Raymond Felton, Danilo
Yeah, yeah,
Gallinari, very
yeah,
interesting team.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
we've always been bad, so it was cool to be
yeah.
pretty good this year,
But they
but
went on a phenomenal run. They weren't even expected to go that far. So
no, they
like
weren't.
I'm excited for the future. Like Jalen Brunson, they picked up some like they picked up like a LA Fitness baller, and he's dropping 30 a game now. Like
Yeah, they
yeah,
were saying that was an
yeah,
overpriced contract before the season, and now it looks underpriced. Like that's how good he
yeah.
is, especially if with the playoffs that he had. We just got to figure out some of
Yeah.
the other people.
But the off season is gonna be big for y'all because y'all have all this cap space because y'all really got like stars signed on max contracts type shit.
Nah.
So like you could really bring people in. I'm excited to see what the Knicks will become after this off season. Yeah,
Well,
because they're gonna. I feel like they're gonna make a lot of moves.
if there's moves available, they're gonna be looking. They're already
Mm.
looking at like Giannis and Embiid and stuff because of those situations on those teams. But I don't see us getting either of them because they're gonna buy in for another season at least.
Yeah,
And then it's like, man, like I don't know, like after that, it's just a matter of waiting until somebody gets really mad and wants to leave their team, and it's all
yeah,
of a sudden like, hey,
yeah.
the Knicks are good and they've got Brunson and everybody wants to play with Brunson and Hart and quickly.
Mm.
Randall, I like Randall a lot, but it's tough to win with him because of his like
Yeah.
he's had some sort of
Inconsistent.
inconsistency. He gets like bad effort sometimes. Like he doesn't
Mm.
he doesn't always show up basically. But
Yeah.
I always root for him. I just don't know if there's any time left, like any patience left for him. But we can
Kings
do
said,
something.
the playoffs has been good, but being a Hawks fan has been tough this season. I know,
Tough.
I know what the Hawks have done to your franchise. I know
Yeah, I know.
for two
Yeah,
straight years. Yeah,
they were definitely a problem for us for a
yeah,
while. This year we finally
yeah,
got the last laugh. But
yeah.
yeah, Trey Young is. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. I mean, and they have Quinn Snyder is a really good coach. He just got to them at the end of the year and gave him he gave them some competitive like games against the Celtics and stuff. they'll be good. They'll be good next year.
Yeah.
The Knicks, we're hoping KD maybe.
Mhm.
If they get some good role players on that Phoenix team, they can run it back and be
Mhm.
better. Then they got a new coach. They fired Monty, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of possibilities. That's part of what makes the NBA really fun right now. As long as you avoid like the toxicity
Yeah.
online, you can have a lot of fun watching the NBA right now. It's absolutely
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
But my favorite franchise has always been like OKC since
mm,
KD's been on it. But
yeah, they're
I
good
love
though.
Shy. Yeah,
Shy
Shy.
is
Shy is wild. Wow. I've
another
never.
tall,
Yeah.
skinny dude playing the guard
Yeah. Yeah.
position.
Yeah. 6'8" at point
Six
guard, bro.
eight at point
Like
guard.
yeah.
But the
Yeah.
way
Like
he does it too is like he's always at the cup. Like he's
yeah.
always got
And
the floater game and the layup game. The
yeah.
dribbles
And they
are
got a very young team. They got Josh Giddey.
Chet
They got that.
Holmgren.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that center Chet Holmgren. Yeah.
Chet
Yeah. Yeah.
Holmgren's gonna be back.
Mhm.
Yeah, they got a bunch of guys on that. That's a really exciting team right now. Really
Yeah.
exciting team
Yeah.
right now.
And they really blew up like during the tail end of the season. I'm happy. I'm sad that they didn't make the playoffs, but they went. They had a really good record. I forgot what it was, but it was a pretty good record.
They were good towards the end, and then they kind of were
Yeah.
like, "Hey, we don't really want to make the playoffs. Like,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
kind of want another
We want-
year."
Yeah, we want the lottery. We want
Yeah.
one more pick.
I wonder what pick
Yeah.
they got. I see that the Spurs got the number 1 pick tonight, so
Ah.
they're gonna get
Oh, yeah.
Wembanyama.
Yeah,
That's very interesting stuff.
yeah.
Very
Yeah,
interesting
Greg
stuff.
Popovich is like known for being really good with mentoring centers.
Oh, yeah.
and young talent though. So I'm excited to see what happens with him. Like DeJounte Murray on the Spurs was a top 3 point guard in the league while he was on the Spurs.
At times,
Right?
yeah.
Like yeah,
He was really good.
yeah,
He was really
yeah,
good, and
yeah.
now he's
I
on
had
the
him on.
Hawks and kind of
Yeah,
iffy. But
yeah, yeah.
that's
Can't
what
really
Popovich does.
share a ball with Trey Young though. You know,
No,
Trey
he
Young
can't.
kind of needs the ball.
He needs
Yeah.
the ball all the time, and DeJounte
Mhm.
is not necessarily a knockdown like catch and shoot guy. So
Yeah.
yeah, interesting. See, let's move on before everybody leaves. Since we've got a crowd full of dorks, but
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
we got some good responses. So my second question is, what are some things that you want to spend more time doing in life?
Oh, some things I want to spend more time doing in life. Well, actually, YouTube is kind of a segue to the things that I want to do more in life because I've always been. This has actually been the only platform where I've been given a livable wage, and the only job where I've been given a livable wage and enough to like help my family, things like that. And to me, as like a disenfranchised Black person, that's like big, you know. For the first time in my life, I'm traveling this summer. Like I'm going to Nigeria and hopefully LA. I'm going to those two places, and I'm just like seeing things because I've never really just stepped out of Edmonton, Alberta. So I'm going to be doing that for the first time in my life. I really want to travel. I really want to try new foods. I like eating. I like eating a whole bunch of. Recently, it's been a lot of Mediterranean tasting stuff, where it's like Libyan food and things like that. I've been trying new food because I have the money to actually order more than McDonald's now. So like yeah, I just want to experience life as a middle class person. That's
Fair
how
enough.
I would sum it up. Yeah, I want to do a whole bunch of things that people in class would tell me about, like, hey, I went on vacation, I did this, and I was like, oh, I was in my backyard the whole summer, or
Yeah.
playing basketball with my friends the whole summer. So that's what I really want to do. And by August, I do also want to have my own place, hopefully, supported off of YouTube. So yeah, those are my two like biggest goals in life.
That's awesome, dude. I'm
Yeah.
so freaking happy for you.
Yeah.
It is a fascinating thing. I'm not wanting to be like, thank God for YouTube, but
Yeah.
in the sense of my personal life, like it has, being able to do this and get sponsorships and like get like ad revenue, and now like being able to afford things, like
Yeah.
I could always like I haven't had a difficult upbringing with finances so much, but it is yeah, it's been some difficulties, and I also had a lot of struggle sort of getting a career together after college. I graduated like 6 7 years ago. Oh my goodness.
Really? You look young as hell.
Not 6 7 years ago. Not more like
Yeah.
I was thinking high school.
Yeah,
uh
yeah. I was like, okay,
5 years
okay, okay.
ago.
Okay, I
uh
was like 6 7 years ago college. I was
no,
like,
I'm 26.
yeah,
I graduated like
yeah,
4 or 5 years ago.
yeah.
And yeah, journalism was not like the easiest career path or industry
Yeah.
to be in, and finally being able to make a YouTube thing work is like, it's
Mm.
like I don't even know, like I don't even know how to act. Like I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah, yeah.
how to comport
Right,
myself.
right. Because I guess the majority of artists that go into college don't really come out and benefit off of it unless you have connections. So like
Yeah.
some of my friends are in uni right now for like communication studies. I'm like 22, so I was supposed to
Right.
graduate this year. But I dropped out and I don't know if I'm going back. I have like a 5 year window to go back. I don't know if I'm going to. But so some of my friends are in college for communication studies and marketing and all of that. But I'm doing marketing and communication studies and all of that on my own. And then they see me and we have conversations about it and everything. And I'm like, yeah, doing all this without a degree is kind of jarring, and like just learning as you go is very jarring.
Yeah.
But and I don't really know how to feel about that
Mm.
because like I haven't put in as much like I guess work as like these people, but I'm still doing work, like I'm still researching like 6 hours a night trying to like
Yeah.
read a book for a script, trying to like assess like push issues out there and being an activist. But I'm not uh in a traditional sense, I guess, working towards a degree
Yeah.
to achieve what I achieve. Like I just went and did it. And an audience, don't get any ideas. I'm not telling you to fucking drop out. Okay. Don't get any ideas. I'm saying in my experience. This has been my experience, right? So like it's been a weird thing of like me talking to them and like us like comparing and contrasting. And like I don't know whether they feel bad or like good or like, it's like
Yeah.
it's a thing of like, oh, it just happened, so I just have to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly something that happens for a lot of people, where they
Mm,
just are like, it's not working for me. Uh,
mm,
and I honestly think for most people, it would be way better to have gap years, to have some sort of first career sets where you can earn some wage for yourself and then be able to go to college, because it gives you more life experience, obviously, and it gives you some amount of money that you can allow yourself to use and like have agency when you're in college. But also once you have those experiences, then you're able to see sort of the different things that you're interested in, that you want to study more, and that would be really advantageous for the things that you want to do.
mhm.
Whereas oftentimes when you go straight from college from high school to college, you haven't had a period of time to have that level of life experience, and you're under a lot of pressure, and you're sort of just coming at it from the same sort of mindset of like what you were experiencing in high school, which is to say
Yeah.
like, I want a structured thing. I get up at this hour, I ask my professors to go to the bathroom, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it's so hard to then be like, so what are you going to do with your life, right? It's so
Mhm,
hard for
mhm.
people to just now decide, like, now I have an adult who makes all these decisions. It doesn't really make any practical sense. And when you oftentimes are able to like take that time off now you have a career, now you have like a livable wage, right? And you have
Mhm.
these opportunities, you're just gonna start to run into these things of like, oh wow, it'd be cool to study this, it would be cool to get a degree in this, it'd be cool to,
Yeah.
and then you like, I'm thinking about getting a master's, because it's like, wow, like now I have these different experiences, and now I can get these opportunities, and there's these things that I really realized I really love to study. it's
Yeah.
it's it's more how life should be, I
Yeah.
guess.
And I'm in school. I don't know if you took sociology or
Yeah.
poli sci.
I
Yeah.
took a couple courses in those.
Yeah. When you take those classes, they're from a very like I guess institute. Well, here in Edmonton, Alberta. And
Right.
I can't speak for all curriculum, but here, it's kind of in a white supremacist narrative. You
Mm.
don't really learn about um I guess more so Angela Davis, Bell Hooks, and all those people. And so as I'm reading these people outside, reading this outside of school, I'm learning a lot that would have been cool to like talk about in a sociology classroom or talk about in a lecture or talk about like on paper, you know? And I
Yeah.
feel like that that has contributed a lot to like my experience with learning because school to me has always been like a pipeline, you know? Like you do this, you go to
Exactly.
junior high, you go to high school, well, you go to elementary, junior high, high school, then you go to college. That's all I was thinking about, right? That's why I applied as soon as possible because I was like, I want to get this shit over with and just get a job and escape my experiences, right?
Right.
But it's not that simple. And it's but it was fed that way to me as being that
Yeah.
simple. Like you can just do that and then you're done, right?
Right.
But you know, we both understand it's not like that anymore. But I would very much like to go back to school and get I want to by the end of my life have a law degree that I could show my mom because I told my
Mm.
mom that I get a law degree. But I'm only 2.5 years into a poli sci undergrad before I can do my LSAT and all that. So I'd like to be at the financial position where I could be like, okay, I can make like a YouTube video a month and still go to school, you know?
Yeah.
Like FD or you know.
Right.
So like that would be phenomenal, but I just can't do that right now. Where it's like I do have the privilege of having enough money from my platform to have a livable wage. I don't have enough money to stop working and only
Right.
post one video a month and have a livable wage. So it not yet, not big enough of a channel yet. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard. You never want to put too much pressure on yourself to be like, I got to get this big either. Like you kind
Mm,
of want to just make sure you're living in the situation that you're in. You have a certain
mm,
amount of viewers you have. It's going well. You have the
mm.
patronage. And so that allows you to just like see what your options are then. And like that's something that I struggle with too because it's like, man, if I can get to this amount of subscribers and I can get this amount with this and this,
Mhm.
then I can do this, and you get to the
Yeah.
sense where you don't feel like what you have is enough. And
Yeah,
so,
it becomes like a game of sorts. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It becomes, but it becomes, but that's kind of like, it's a toxic way to visualize it because you'll always open up your YouTube studio and you'll see like your charts,
yeah,
right? Like last month, I got, uh, no, the month before that, it was like 300K views, and it was like fucking a million watch time hours, and I was like, whoa, that's the most amount of money I've ever made in my life, right?
yeah,
But then the month after, I was too drained to even make a video,
right,
you know? Whereas like I made 3 videos in a row that month, but the month after I had to take a whole entire break. Then it dropped down to like 100K views, which is still really good.
yeah,
And but it wasn't the same phenomenal growth that I saw like the month before.
right,
So in my head, I was like, I'm failing, but like I'm not. I'm taking a mental break and then I'm coming back to it, you know?
yeah,
Things like
exactly.
that where it's just it becomes a thing of like when is enough, you know? Because
Hmm.
when with your platform, when will you be satisfied? Like at
Right.
what point are you like, okay, this I'm okay with this. This is okay for the rest of my life. Like I'm okay with this amount of money. Like, what are you envisioning as satisfaction? If I were to ask that question.
I mean, I don't think there ever comes a point. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Uh, I think. I think I would like to be in a position where I could do stuff like Dan Olson, where I could be
Mm,
like, I'll pop up every couple months or so, make a really like put a lot of work into like a documentary or like a long form video essay,
mm,
publish that, have it, do good numbers, and be able to have a few of those per year. I think that that's something that I would possibly want to be doing when I reach like 30 or whatever, um, like years old. I
mm,
think ultimately though, I'm like if I could make 100K in a year and I could do that for a couple years, like I'm good, because at a
mm,
certain point I'm going to be like I know a little bit about how to invest, and I'll be at reach and I'll be like able to study and like get like some other career path, right? Like I want to maybe be a professor one day or like publish
mm,
books and stuff like that. Um, and by that point, I will have enough money saved, like and invested, and I'll be able to sort of do YouTube and still make some income from that. but also have other like an income from other things, and like that's kind of how I see it. It's more just like,
Mhm.
what am I able to do? And so it's about like, obviously making like a certain amount of money to be able to say I can be able to do more now, and now I can be more flexible, and I can have, if I can have more freedom and space. This is something I was talking about before you came on, like having a bit more freedom and space. Now that, like, for instance, the semester is over, I was tutoring in my former university. Um, I have all this time now,
Yeah.
and I have space. Like, I have the mental space now. Like, I'm not so focused on like how am I gonna get to work and how am I gonna help the student, how am I gonna do this. I don't feel like I'm constantly bumping against things, and I just feel great. Like, I'm able to make so many better decisions now because I'm able to like spend. I can say like I'm just gonna spend my time doing this. Now I'm gonna spend my time buying like this thing that I need to buy, or cleaning my room, or working out, and it's like this is what I want to work towards. It's not necessarily so much money, but it's more like having a level of freedom and space and time, so that I can healthily make choices, basically.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Well, my
Mm.
next question is, speaking of things like, that I'm working on, would you also grow a mustache, one day, or would you think about it, or is that something that's just not on your radar?
The mustache conversation, I've had this with my partner a million times. They like when I grow facial hair,
Okay.
but my facial hair is like baby, so I like always shave it because I'm like, I just don't uh want it right now. But my partner is always like, you look so good with a mustache. Da, 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 da." So in the performance of masculinity, maybe, but but like
When you want to get in your mask bag, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But like, I don't, I don't know, facial hair and all that. I think I'm gonna do like an elder arc, where it's like when I hit the age, probably in like a year where I can get like a more fuller beard and mustache, then I'll just like pop out and everyone will be like, "Whoa, you actually look 23." And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm 23." Yeah. I'll be like, "Yeah, I just aged a whole year. Yeah. Aged 30 years in a year." Yeah, but I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, I think that.
Everyone with the mustache seems like really good people though. Like Noah Samse, you like, I don't know, something about a mustache. I feel like it really humbles you. Like I feel like yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
wild statement.
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, I'm working with it just for May. I call it the May stash, um,
Yeah.
and it is the only thing it's giving me a bit of depth. It's giving me a bit of character, that definitely like a maturity, like a bit more age,
Mhm.
but it's also a little uncomfortable, and I can't wait until June starts to get rid of it. But I'm sticking with it for as long as I can because I want to see how long it can grow, and I also want to just like live in this for a bit, so that
Mhm.
I cannot like I don't have this sort of feeling of like when am I gonna grow my facial hair, especially because like I think the elder arc thing is very important. I
Yeah.
am 26 now. I am in the space where I'm like I want to feel a bit more grown because I am a little bit
Mhm.
more grown, and it's hard when I have such a baby face.
Yeah.
And I was in a space of like growing my like dyeing my hair and stuff. I think my mom was knocking at my door. I'm just gonna try to ignore her. I think,
We could take like a quick break because I gotta run and grab my
okay.
charger too. I
Okay,
forgot to
sounds good.
grab it. Yeah. Okay. Give me like a
Okay.
second. I'm running downstairs. I was on a interview with Lonnie and my charger is downstairs. Give me a second. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna block my camera for a sec so I can double check what my mom's
Yeah.
asking for.
Wait, audience. We will be right back after this messages. Do 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 do.
Hello. Oh, they're gossiping about me. Are you guys gossiping about me while I'm gone? My mom just had like two random things. I do live with my mother. I'm in that space in my life right now, so I've always lived with her. Yeah, like the stream if you haven't while you wait. Very cool. I think this guy on the left has some skeletons. Extremely accurate. Extremely accurate. Is this? Oh, I get to have this. I have this mouse thing here. Scooby Doo. I love the baby BT21 RJ. You see me. You see me. Okay. Let's have a baby face. It's round with fat cheeks. Some things you just outgrow. I'm proud of my baby face. I'm not anti my baby face. I just like to experiment with it because if I can get the facial hair here and there, rhymed, then it can provide a bit of a different character. I like the term elder arc that Herb used because it is good to have a sense of yourself that is like it's good to have alternate versions of yourself, and one of them should be one that makes you feel more comfortable with your aging. You know, you should have parts of yourself, you should have ideas of yourself that are comfortable, that are like the aged, mature version of you. Because if you feel like your baby all the time, you're just going to be extremely insecure about like the aging process and about a variety of different things involving your skin and your face and all that. Whereas if you are, have a baby arc, have a baby version, and then you also have an elder version, you have a wise adult, like adult version of yourself, and like an old person version of yourself. Like you should have these conceptions of yourself because they help you round out the fullness of you. You're so pretty. Me? Thank you. I think Elliot's mustache game isn't on Noah Samson's level. Don't tell him though. I mean, you're absolutely right. This thing is wispy. You see that? This thing is wispy. We're gonna see how far it goes. I got another fucking like 15 days of this thing. Hopefully, it doesn't get more and more uncomfortable. And hopefully, it looks nice. I think it looks kind of cool. I gotta get another haircut. The cut makes so much of a difference, folks. Like haircuts are so important. They're revolutionary, in fact. I want to age like Smokey Robinson. That's a beautiful sentiment. That's about how it should be. Hey.
I got my charger.
Oh
and I
shit.
Got
Chips.
We're having a whole party.
We are having a party.
Yeah. And I got my Pikachu hat. We're ready to party. We're ready to choose people. I choose you and stuff and such.
Me? That's very exciting. I wish I had a Pikachu hat or like a comparable Pokemon hat. I am just we were just talking about sort of maturity.
Yeah.
And mustaches and the elder arc and whatnot. And I do think that tailors nicely with what we were sort of talking about before and what we were kind of planning to talk about a bit on the stream.
Yeah.
Because we were talking a bit about infantilization. And that's something that is going to be a theme of some work that I'm going to put out in June. And there's a lot of different angles of infantilization that I'm realizing that's going to make me have to possibly make it a series or something. And when I hit you, I had this particular thing that I was thinking about, and then you had this other particular thing that you were thinking about, and then we were like both ready to like go on tangents and stuff. And I sent you a article that I was looking at prior about sort of the way in which the colonized were infantilized by I mean, it's like a key strategy of like imperialism was like this idea of the infantilized other, the infantilized indigenous people, the infantilized black people that are too childish, incapable of taking care of themselves. And then you were also looking at infantilization from the angle of like the way people use it as a defense mechanism, particularly to defend oppression, to defend oppressors. So we were both like, damn, this is interesting. Have you had some more thoughts on that since then?
Well, I'm wearing a Pikachu hat, so I can't really call myself the bearer of maturity. But I feel like uh I I feel like maturity is a very nuanced subject in the sense in the extent that oppressed, marginalized people have to mature a lot. I'm
That's
sorry.
real.
Marginalized people have to mature a lot quicker because conditions don't really allow them to, you know, be a little boy or be a little girl, specifically with black men. I can speak about this. Can't really speak about other communities, but with black men, from childhood, a lot of black men, this is kind of predatory with coaches too, where it's like
Mm.
I love what basketball did for me, right? And I love what basketball did for the people that I met, the you know the just special interest it kind of I guess embedded in me, and
Mm.
like this thing of like wanting to be alive because I'm playing basketball. Like basketball was really a the biggest antidepressant in my life. Yeah. So I but on the inverse of that, the coaches will tell black boys to like, man up. They'll make black boys perform hyper masculinity, specifically with like football coaches. I saw it with a lot of my friends where they're not treated as little boys when they're on a team. They're treated as monoliths, I guess, of black masculinity, and that's enforced on them. And
Yeah.
they internalize that, and then they have to, you know, they go perform that at a very young age, and you see that a lot in men's sports circles where it's like there'll be like 10-year-old boys in locker rooms talking about like having sex with women. Like, no, Timmy, like you're not you're not, but yeah, but things like that where uh some marginalized groups, and that was just sports. But if we take in oppressive conditions and how quickly, I guess, some people have to go to work and help provide for their family, or how quick people have to know the difference between a deadly situation, where it's like what block not to go down, what this not to go down, what this not to go down.
Right.
So in my experience, when I talk about like childlike wonder, it's a very different experience because I guess living in a disenfranchised area, that whole childlike wonder esque thing is a very different experience for me than other people. Um, but I still think I was a child. I still think I had a, somewhat um somewhat of a childlike wonder for the West, and like for like specifically my future, where I was like, okay, it might be bad right now. I might not be eating all the meals that I need to eat right now. But I have family, I have people around me and all that. So I'm gonna go outside and play with my friends. Then I go outside, dribble a basketball with my friends and things like that. But when we talk about infantilization, I guess, being pressed on white boys, it's all of a sudden the boys will be boys narrative,
Right.
where it's like it's not the same with black little boys because of anti-blackness. Society kind of pictures black little boys as not good people, like very very bad amalgamations of stereotypes that's inflicted on them whenever they get into like petty crime or things like that, and that just sends them to jail and contributes to the prison industrial complex and all of that. But I yeah, I have a lot of mixed thoughts on infantilization just because of how I was raised. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's like you just given me like a real um powerful insight. Like I had to just take a note like of
Mm.
something for like this work that I was missing and that I've been just missing and thinking about, which should be obvious, but it is kind of a very underneath the surface thing, which is like that, you know, you give the example of black men um, being forced to be grown ups from very young ages, and being sort of stigmatized as such. And I think that that is something that a lot of marginalized people uh, live out. They don't live out a feeling of like they have this if not safe, at least like this sense of childhood, this sense of having room to make mistakes and having this wonder and having this adventure. They're from a very early age forced to be in a position of caretaking, forced to be so like my girlfriend, um, you know, has had that kind of experience growing up, as a Mexican woman, like as a Mexican woman my age, who through her young life was constantly being put in a position of like having to sort of meet all these maturity standards that are kind of pervasive within the culture. That's like a Latin thing in a lot of places, but also just like there's specific things with her background, and then also that thing of dealing with immigrant parents and having to take care of them and having to like resolve certain things. Turb has disappeared. We will hopefully get him back in a second. What I was going to say is that is such a valuable point that he shared in that sense, that a lot of our feeling of when we are trying to chase this childlike wonder and like this innocence and these things that maybe seem like infantilizing comes from this feeling like we haven't had that childhood, and we are just so desperate to, or not, if not desperate, then at least eager to sort of live it out in different ways, to sort of experience it, or to sort of have something of it like that we missed. And like that's also such a common resource for us. Oh shit. Hello.
You're gonna have to give me 5 seconds. My computer's starting up again. I'm so sorry.
That's totally fine. That's
plugged in. I'm so sorry. I'll be back.
Don't worry about it. Just get back on as soon as you can. We'll be waiting for you.
Word.
Yeah, that's just one of those things that, yeah, I feel like I missed in some ways. I think so many of us, and like All Right Tumbleweed mentioned that she has had this feeling of having to be the mature one, the mature child. And like, yeah, it's something that can extend far beyond like the conventions of like what we think of as marginalized people, although women are marginalized too. But like when you have parents that are codependent, parents that are toxic, when you're living in unstable financial situations, thank you, Guy. When you're in these precarious situations from a young age, you are forced to live this level of responsibility and maturity that it makes it really hard to grow up. It makes it really hard to figure out what you want to do. It makes it really hard for you to suddenly have to be like letting things go from your childhood and letting go of like immaturity, and like suddenly having to put yourself through strenuous circumstances and not giving yourself space to make mistakes, nor giving yourself the sort of room to sort of try things and fail. Now all of a sudden you have to make the wisest decisions that will guide like sort of the rest of your life, supposedly. And I want to tell people that like that's not necessarily true. You can find the inner child, and it's a very good thing to do so. And you don't have to let the terms of your the terms of your childhood and your situation don't have to dictate your happiness and your future. But that's also like yeah, it's a comfort thing too in general, where we kind of look for comfort, and we look for childishness when we deal with great periods of stress. And I think a lot of people relate to that when they look at nostalgic things and they look at sort of things that are seen as childish and entertainment and whatnot, because it's really hard. It's extremely hard to just be constantly feeling like you have to be extremely grown. Me being a black girl in white suburbia, you learn real fast in school how differently the dress codes are policed. That's super real, and I'm so sorry to hear that, Ghost Star. People treat children and teens like shit in general, for sure. That's 1,000% true as well, and it's a very valuable and important part of that. I failed in my career due to mental health, and I feel like it's the first big mistake I ever made. It's hard to recover from. That's really hard to hear, but you also can recover from that. So don't worry about that tumbleweed. Well,
Hey,
that's like the short version of what I want to say. What's up, Turb?
I'm so sorry.
That's
You're
totally
telling me like
fine.
the most in-depth like thing, and I just my my laptop wasn't in the charger. So like
Yeah, that's totally
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
That's totally fine. I
yeah.
was kind of going over it. What I basically was saying was that we kind of are looking for oftentimes in adulthood these sort of childlike wonder, these feelings of childlike wonder, or these childish things, whether it's fair to call them that or not. Sometimes,
Mhm.
um, in this sense of trying to, if not relive childhood, to sort of hold on to those things that we didn't get to live out when we were children because of the circumstances, and because of the constant stress of day-to-day life that pressures us to constantly like avoid making mistakes, to constantly be very responsible, which we've
Yeah.
experienced from a young age. Of course, that's going to make people lean towards wanting to free themselves of that and wanting to be childish in adulthood.
Mhm.
And that's such a common experience for marginalized people. And it has
Yeah.
so many
Like
different unique ways, yeah, of showing up.
yeah, I didn't have enough money to buy all the video games I wanted when I was younger. Like when I was younger, my dad would take me to the little the the EB games.
Mm,
Do you remember EB games?
I don't. I think that may be a Canadian thing.
EB games. Get a game. Yeah, but it was like a really big thing over here. And it
Okay.
was a thing where you can go over there and get like Xbox games for like $2. Like it was pretty cheap. So I used to go over there and get like these old Xbox games for like $2. But the games that I wanted to get were always like overpriced. And they weren't even that much back in the day. They were like what, $20 to $30. But my dad was like, this 20 to
So much,
$30
yeah.
could go to way better things, you know. So I I'd be happy when we went to EB Games and like grabbed some games for like $2, and I had a whole stash of games and I was just playing games. But there was things that I wasn't allowed to get. Like when Pokemon dropped first on the DSi, it was $60, right? I'm not
Wow.
gonna there was
Yeah.
no way in hell my dad was getting me that Pokemon game for $60. So I played Diamond and Pearl on my cousin's DSi for the longest time, and that gave me the most wonder in the world, right? That gave me so much, I guess, exuberance, where I was like, well, you can catch these things and train them. Like they made like the show a real thing. Like so and I remember the first Pokemon I caught was an Apom. uh and I was so happy. I just had this A-palm and I was like, oh my God. But then I had to give my cousin back the DSi like an hour later because they had to go home, right? So there's things that I am even leaning into in adulthood. Like I got a Pikachu hat. Like I got a whole bunch of Pokemon games for my Switch because I never really got to play it as a child,
Right.
things like that. So I get that experience. But I also how you were talking about the intricacies and how it comes in tandem with patriarchy and different ethnic groups. um I'm seeing my mom force my little sisters to take on very patriarchal ideals at a very young age, where they have to clean things and they have to, have assignments for the house. And like, I still have assignments for the house and everything, but like to press that on them from a very young age and be like, okay, you have to do all this before you go outside. By the time they're done, it's like 6 p.m. And then they can go outside. It's like, are you even letting them have a childhood? Like, are you even letting them like play? Are you even
Right.
what is going to be their definition of play when they grow older?
Right.
Or is this going to be like, how does that um uh affect their life? Yeah, that's something I've seen in my life. Yeah.
Yeah. It's this really deep thing. It's like this
Mhm.
really deep thing
Yeah.
because it's this constant like these contradictory forces that we're constantly fighting, of one of like trying to excel under really very difficult circumstances, and also trying to sort of spare ourselves, or at least like trying to recognize the difficult, near impossible circumstances for what they are, and avoid,
Mhm.
start to stop, like start to like move away from the sort of toxicity of the standards that we hold for ourselves, especially when so many of
Mhm.
them are like pointless. We want to be
Mhm.
adults, we want to be responsible, we want to be successful, but so much of it comes from this pressure to escape failure, and this pressure to escape difficult, like arduous circumstances financially and familially, and what will my family say, and what will my friends say, and will I make friends?
Mhm.
Will I get to experience the things that I want to experience? Um, kind of thing. And then
Mhm.
simultaneously, we're dealing with
Mhm.
generational curses, and we're dealing with
Mhm.
like the after effects of well, not after effects, the effects of imperialism and of capitalism and of patriarchy,
Mhm.
and of racism, right?
Mhm.
It's all of
Mhm.
these things that are environmental, that are familial, that are personal, that are, yeah, political, that are forces that that have caused us a great amount of damage. And until we recognize ourselves as damaged goods and try to make ourselves get on that process of healing properly, we're going to be continuously like having these hard moments, like mentally and emotionally, and continuously running into walls, failing at things, and struggling over and over again. um
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
um
excited for this video. It's gonna be a very, very uh good video. I think it's gonna be cathartic.
I think I'm gonna have like I think I'm gonna make it a three-parter, to be honest, because
Hmm.
I want to talk about, for one, I want to talk about like the prefrontal cortex.
Hmm.
Because I don't know if you've probably heard the whole thing of like this meme now, basically, of people
Yeah.
being like
It
the
doesn't
free
get developed until
till you're
like 20,
25.
yeah, 25, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically like bad science. Like, it's actually
Mm.
much more complicated than that, and it
Mm.
doesn't mean like also that your brain like ever stops developing, or that there's like, you know, this crazy difference between who you are at 26 and who you are at 24, right? Just based off
Hmm.
of like brain development, like in a bubble, right? Um,
Hmm.
and I think that goes to sort of this feeling sometimes like we are fatalistic, um, and we like to have certain things that we can point to and say like it is what it is because of this. Um,
Hmm.
like, well, I can't do things correctly because my brain isn't fully developed yet. Just wait till I get to a prefrontal cortex. Wait till I get this,
Hmm.
or we like to say, well, the world is always going to be like a certain way, right? And part of having to mature is and having to heal is recognizing that like there is no like definitive, and like being fatalistic doesn't make any like real sense, because if you analyze science long enough, you get to see how much complexity and nuances in it, and how much randomness often is part of life. um,
Hmm.
and so that's like something I want to address, and I also want to address like the way infantilization takes a hold in culture, and what we talk about when we talk about infantilization in media and like Marvel stuff. And then I want to talk about infantilization as a tool of oppression. So there's like a
Hmm.
lot. There's like a lot there.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, but for you, um, what are you working on? And
Um,
yeah, is it like related to that at all, or is it very different?
I'm working on like the I'm working on four things. Yeah.
Are you?
Two of them are sorry. Two of them are with Aronok, and it's this series that I guess is a more I want to make a more we want to make a more nuanced take on commentary, and it's called Jubilee Purgatory, where basically we just battle centralism and we talk about
Like
how
centrism?
debating ideas, yeah, no, centralism, like just,
Centralism?
yeah, just being in the middle of issues and debating, and talking about how platforming oppressive ideals isn't a good thing.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, yeah. And sec the then that's a two-parter. There's one with anti-blackness, and there's ones with anti-transness. I mean, trans bigotry. And the third one is this whole thing about commodification and its ramifications,
Right.
appropriation. Basically I just go over uh it's called "Do AIs Deserve an N-word Pass?" Because I've seen people do like AI Drake or AI Weekend and put the
Yeah.
N-word in there, and I'm like, this is just like the peak of sensualized. It's interesting to me because it's like the peak of sensationalized culture, where it's like we've been moving to a point where we have been stripping the autonomy of Black art from Black people, specifically with the biggest star in the world being Drake, who switches his accent, vibe, and like whole entire, persona album to album, like month to month, you know. But he's an acceptable, I guess, monolith of Black culture that is basically the most marketable form there is, a light-skinned Black man talking, taking the caricature of a Caribbean person, a Toronto person, a British person, whatever. You can fit him into anything, right? And we people won't question it. So this is like a step further than Drake, though. This is like literally cutting the middleman of the Black image, and instead there's a Black man that I literally created to say these words, and that's the most like mind-boggling thing I've ever seen in a while, and I wanted to explore it, and I wanted to explore like how it's happened throughout history and everything. And that's probably that's one of my more favorite video essays. And the fourth one is basically the second part to the Yassification of Gender series, where I talk about I brought a whole bunch of people on, Ali Sunvia, Noah Sampson, Professor Flowers is coming on, Lonnie, like a bunch of other people, where we just talk about the way which race plays into I guess performance as a gender.
Hmm.
And then I just want to do a small one, like a small 20-minute one, just about Total Drama Island.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That's like
And
five
that one,
videos.
yeah, 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 yeah. I have more videos in mind though. It's just those are
Oh,
the ones where like, that's what I'm working on. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I know what it feels like to have a lot of videos in mind. Like I have a huge
Mhm,
notepad of like video ideas, but like
mhm.
that's like a lot of videos that you have fleshed out basically
Yeah,
upcoming
yeah,
and like they're bangers too. Like you're very good at this. Like you're very good at knowing what to talk about, how to talk about it. Like I'm deeply excited for those. Also hello
yeah.
to Haryana Hook. Um,
Yo, Haryana. I love Haryana. Haryana was probably the first big YouTuber that I like talked to. Like Haryana's been here since like I was like at 5K subs. Like Haryana, I love Haryana. Haryana's such an amazing person.
I have not had the opportunity to interact with Haryana yet, but I'm very excited
Hmm.
to have Haryana here. Um,
Hmm.
I yeah, I'm deeply excited. I'm also slightly worried for you in terms of like keeping up with all of that.
Yeah.
It seems like a
It's okay
lot.
though. I got I had I'm paying two editors, and but my third editor Neil is working on a project right now. So
Hmm.
I'm editing one of them, but that Neil's gonna be available next month. So we're gonna be good. Like I'm not burning out or anything. Like these scripts have been most of them were written last month. The only new ones written this month was like the commentary one wasn't really a written one because we're actually reacting to the Jubilee one and the centrist ideals. So it's not really, didn't really need a lot of penmanship. But I only wrote like two videos this month, so yeah, not the worst, There's been months where like I had to write like four scripts, so yeah,
That's a lot
yeah.
of script writing. I mean, writing can sometimes be like it can sometimes come out fast and like just come out great,
Hmm.
like in huge quantities, or sometimes it can be hard to
Hmm.
write just a single word. But like,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, burnout is something that gets experienced from time to time. So when it happens, make sure you have healthy ways to deal with it. Make sure you're
yeah.
not straining yourself too much and you're not setting too hard expectations.
Yeah.
Just keep it
I
flowing.
bought a basketball, and that's my therapy. That's my antidepressant, my basketball.
That's a
I'll just
beautiful
dribble it
thing.
a little bit and I'll be happy.
I mean, I wish I was good at basketball. I wanted to be good at basketball so much. I tried so hard, and I was just not able to in my
Mm,
youth.
mm.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
like trying to get into martial arts now, so I can have a thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but basketball is also a thing that's really classist if you're not, I guess, if you didn't get like a growth spurt or some kind of amazing physical genetics from like young age, you know what I mean? Like I got my growth spurt pretty. I've always been a pretty tall dude in my classes and everything, and I was pretty tall going into basketball. So that's I wasn't the best. I wasn't coordinator or anything. You know, they just took me into league because I was a tall black man, literally. So I was on like three teams at once ever since like grade five. So like to me it was like it's just like breathing because I've done it for so long. But
Mm.
like but like for a lot of other people that I guess aren't weren't blessed to be 5'8" in grade five, they you know they didn't really get the charity I did, I guess we could call it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean
To
it's
join teams so easily.
I have the height as guy notes, but I don't have that much
Mhm.
height, and I'm also very uncoordinated and slim.
Mhm.
And it is true. I
Yeah.
mean, basketball can be a very toxic thing too. Like just if you don't have the right people around you when you're young,
Mhm.
you'll probably just never get good at it and never enjoy playing it because it's not one of
Mhm.
those sports that people will like encourage you a lot or like help you get resources. Like you have to
Mhm.
have encouraging people around you and people who can teach you to actually
It's a
play.
very big performance of masculinity.
Huge.
It's yeah, it's yeah,
And I've never
yeah.
been great with those. So it's just like, damn.
Mhm.
Um that's well, I was going to close with a question. Now that we're
Mhm.
sort of we're running out of time. It's almost an hour and a
Oh,
half.
oh.
But I do have like a sort of a last like a important sort of question. Um,
Mhm.
who wins one on one? You or Colormind?
Is he in the chat right now?
I don't know if he's in the chat right now. I will be informing
Color
him of
mine
your
or
answer. Put him on. Should we send him a Zoom link?
wait,
Text him
wait.
right now.
Let me I'm gonna call him.
Call him.
Wait. I wonder if he'll answer.
I wonder too.
Yeah. Word.
We're in the process.
I need him to see this. I hope he does. He works a lot though,
He
so he
does.
might not. Yeah, pick up.
Nelson
Yeah.
says, "Color my hands
But
down."
put
That's
this on the
crazy.
record. Put this on the record. I'll dust anyone in basketball, anyone from any space, debate bro, Twitter bro, MySpace bro, Twitter, Tumblr bro. I'll dust anyone in basketball. Anyone come to Edmonton, Alberta, message me and I will show you hell. Like I do not lose in basketball. I'm sorry. And that's the one toxic trait I have as a man. I will not lose in basketball. You will
You
lose
get what?
21. You will lose 21 to 0. Color mine Jay. I love you. You're my dog. But if you step on a court, it's not going to be good for you. I'm treating you like Vosh. You're treating you like...
That is a wild statement.
Yeah,
I'm taking that directly out of context as well. I'm just gonna text him saying like, "Yo,
yeah,
Tur said he's gonna treat you like a Vosh, bro. That's
yeah,
crazy. He's gonna Vosh you on the court." That's like a okay. I mean, I'd be interested to see that matchup. I know
yeah.
Color Mind takes it
Mm.
very seriously. Tyler takes it very
I've just
seriously.
played for way too long. Like I played for, it's just not fair. Like the amount of teams I played, like the amount of teams I played, the amount of times, like every day was literally come home, study for like an hour, go to basketball for 3 hours. Come home, study for an hour, go to basketball for 3 hours. And when I wasn't doing that, I was playing basketball with my friends. So
You're too true to this. Yeah.
yeah, like I played basketball more than hours I spent in school, probably.
What was
Like
your best game? Like the best game you ever had?
I once scored in junior high, I once scored 67 points in a game. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
but
yeah.
was it like like Turb is really tall, Tieb is really tall right now. Just throw him
No,
the
it
ball by
was
the
just
basket.
I ran to the corner. My point guard Dionis was just passing it to me, and I was just shooting.
You just
And it
shot
was
threes.
yeah, it was just shooting. Yeah, yeah, it was just shooting. Yeah. No one expects a 6 foot black dude to be able to shoot, but I can do it.
How
I
many
that's all
minutes
I
were in the game for you to score 67 points?
it's not hard. Like you gotta steal, you go, you gotta steal, you go, you gotta steal, you go. Like so like in some swings of basketball, like especially in junior high, sometimes some junior high teams aren't the best. You know what I mean? And our junior high team was a pretty super team. Like we had a like our whole line was like almost 6 feet tall. And in junior high, that's in Canada, junior high. I guess that's normal in the US, maybe. I don't know if I'm being wrong or not.
I mean,
But in Canada, yeah, in Canada that's like wild. So like we were just bigger than people. We were more skilled and everything. So like yeah,
he
it
just
was
dumped,
yeah.
just ran them off. Were you gonna
Yeah.
try to get a I'm asking like mad just basketball questions now.
Mhm.
Were you thinking about getting a scholarship to go to college, like playing in college? Like,
No. No, no. I never really wanted to play outside of high school. I kind of lost interest in high school. Like it was kind of a thing of like I was more interested in I was
Marketing.
actually really interested in Chem 30, which is like which is yeah, which is I it was Chem 30's fun. Okay, y'all need to hear me out. Like when you're in school and you're like in these regulated social science math whatever, right? As like an ADHD person, when you see that your whole life, it's just like boring. But then
Right.
but then when school opens up in at least in Canada, I don't know how it is in America. Here we have in grade 10, 11, and 12, you could actually choose extra your extra courses. And I chose science, like a bunch of science courses. I chose bio, physics, and chemistry. Physics I only chose because I saw the lab rats and I thought I wanted
Fair
I didn't
enough.
really like physics. Yeah, I didn't really like physics. Bio was because I wanted to be a marine biologist, but then I did it and I was like, the Krebs cycle doesn't really amuse me. But then I did chemistry and I was like, oh my God, like there's all these things reacting. Even in the air, there's chemicals, even like here. So nothing's ever an isolated situation. It just went like deeper and deeper and deeper. And I took it all the way to organic chemistry. Then organic chemistry is when I stopped. So like, yeah,
I mean, that's fascinating. I've never been good at like
yeah.
science at all. But like one day, if you want to revoke, like if you want to bring some chemistry stuff back into some YouTube stuff, like into some video essay stuff,
Yeah,
hit up Dr.
yeah,
Fatima or something, like
yeah,
get something going. I would
yeah.
love to see that.
No, Dr. Fatima has a whole PhD though. Like
I
I
know, but
have
like that's what's the fun.
one, yeah,
What's the fun
yeah,
part?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have like 1 year of studies in sciences in uni. Like I was still an English student. I just took a lot of science extracurriculars, so I couldn't really hop on and be like, this is the definitive. Because no, all my things were borderline like entry level, like just a level above high school. So like I
Right.
could teach some people like some chemistry stuff, like like have you done ever done a titration lab?
No, I'm not.
Uh,
I'm not
yeah.
lab.
If so when a solute is fully dissolved in a substance like potassium permanganate in water, right? There's a point where it turns light pink, and you can actually find out the exact point if you do the calculations on a street with like the grams and moles of water, the grams and moles of potassium permanganate, then add it together so you could find out the perfect time you have to stop titrating. That's what a titration lab is, and that's like yeah, that's just a jump start to college chemistry. So yeah,
That
yeah,
sounds like something I'll never. Well, I would love to like learn about it one day, but like not have to get graded on it because it seems fascinating.
yeah,
Color Mind is in the
yeah,
chat,
yeah.
and do you have
Oh,
like, words for Color Mind as he's appeared?
oh, color minds in the chat.
We were.
Color mind, answer your call. Answer your call, Teo. Answer your call.
We need the one on one.
Hey, color mind. I'm with Elliot right now. Someone said that you could beat me at basketball, bro. Wait, wait, let me put you on speaker.
Oh wait, I got to take this earphone on. Also, sorry,
I'm still here. Yeah. So Elliot said you could beat me in basketball.
like, that's true.
We're gonna have a whole game. We're gonna have a whole game one day. Yeah.
It's summertime. I
Yeah,
can't. I can't hear
yeah,
him.
yeah.
What's up, bro?
Live right now. I'm not to the part yet. I sent you. Oh, okay. I see you moving the phone now.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. It's good to see you. We'll have you. We're gonna have you back on the program at some point, Tayo, and you can let us know whether you can beat Tia 1-on-1.
Oh, 100%. I can.
He cannot beat me in basketball. I gotta cut him off there. I'm sorry.
That's great.
No one's beating me. No one's beating me 1-on-1 in a 1-on-1 game, and there's no help. Actually, bring help. Bring Lonnie. Bring FD. Bring people. I don't care. I'll do a whole 5v1. I will run the court by myself. Y'all are not scoring on me. If you can get to 1 point, I will allow you to get to 1 point and you can beat me, and that will not happen. I promise. I promise.
Bro, we're getting flights. We're getting flights together. Okay, we're getting flights. We'll have a neutral. You guys meet in New York. We'll meet. We'll have a New York get together, and we will film this and settle this, and we'll make some sort of video essay out of it, and and justify
the toxic performance of masculinity.
Exactly. It's just a 1-on-1 match. It's dead ass. Just half a 1-on-1 match between Tayo.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a great idea, but also I definitely just want to see the game. I definitely want to see abolish tall people.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. But it would be fun. If I'm ever in New York, I still have to. I want to see. Do you know who Mod is?
Mod.
They go by they pronouns. They're this artist in New York. They're Dainty Funk on YouTube. I want to meet like them over there. There's a couple other people like my homie Charlie, and so like if I'm ever in New York, like we should do like a stream or something. That'd be cool. We could go to. I never been to. I've heard great things about Rucker Park. I mean, that was sarcasm.
That is a place, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They do play basketball over there. I mean, if you're up for that, I mean, I will bring many cameras. Bring many cameras. Yeah, I mean, it would be great. I'm gonna check out Dainty Funk. I'll check out Mod, as well, because I love finding out about artists around. But in general, this has been a great conversation. You know, even with the obstacles we had to overcome, we did it. We had a great talk. We had a lot of fun. Do you have any last messages for the chat before you sign off?
Chat, drink some water, hydrate. Chat, actually first thing you do before you wake up every day, rinse your mouth and then drink water because it helps a lot. My LA teacher in grade 9 said that, and I've been doing it ever since. I don't know if it's real or not, but do it.
Dental
I don't
care.
have a source.
Dental care is dental hygiene, very important. Floss if you can. Floss if you can. Brush those
and if
teeth.
if you know someone near you that can beat me in basketball, you don't.
It's Kevin Durant. It's Kevin Durant or you don't.
Yeah. Unless you're next door neighbor to Kevin Durant. Word. I don't want no smoke with him. Well, yeah. Everyone else can line up.
Well, if you got listen, we'll see about like a link up. We'll see about potentially hoops and we'll see about dental care. And I'll
for sure have you on my channel sometime. Like I'll hit you up for like some kind of interview sometime.
Likewise.
This is a fun talk. Yeah.
It's been excellent. It's been an excellent talk. So be safe. Have a blessed night. Best of luck. I'm wishing the best for you. I'm very proud and happy for you. Keep killing it.
Peace.